Battles of 3D WorldRunner, or 3D WorldRunner, was released in September of 1987. The game would mark Square's first foray into the NES as a developer with Acclaim as its publisher. The game is a rail shooter that uses a similar world scaling effect seen in many early racing games. The game featured one of the earliest instances of having the ability to use 3D glasses in a video game. 3D WorldRunner's plot has the player assuming the role of Jack, the World Runner, attempting to save planets from serpent monsters led by the evil master Gax. In this adventure, you'll visit 8 different planets. The gameplay is essentially a rail shooter that has you constantly moving forward, although you're able to control the speed at which you do so. By pressing up or down, you're able to speed up or slow down, giving you 3 various speeds. These speeds come important as you'll be jumping across giant chasms, and short ones as well. So speed regulation is an extremely important part of this game. You're able to move left and right and jump, although moving left or right eventually will cause the area to repeat over and over. Your attack abilities are limited as you're only able to do so after picking up power-ups that look like missiles. These missile attacks become essential as early as the 3rd level as stages begin to get littered with enemies and obstacles, which makes it drastically easier than trying to avoid everything that comes your way. Another power-up is the medicine bottle that'll allow you to take an additional hit. Without it, 1 hit and you're dead. At the end of each level, you'll fight a serpent boss, and during these fights you'll have full 3D motion on the screen, allowing you to fly around the screen rather than just running on the ground. These parts are very similar to Sega's 1985 game, Space Harrier. The game starts out easy on the first stage, but the difficulty ramps up drastically as you play. By the time you hit later levels in the game, it becomes insanely difficult. The high difficulty of this game really made it lose its appeal to me fairly quickly. The game is a fun little arcade-style rail shooter, but the difficulty really hinders the experience. The soundtrack for 3D WorldRunner was scored by Square's legendary composer Nobuo Uematsu, and this is without a doubt a terrible representation of his work. The main level music is super repetitive and sort of bubbly, but wears on you quickly considering on how often you'll be dying. Graphically, for the time the game was released, it's a marvel. It is the first of its kind on the NES, and the graphics really do stand out as they were trying to do something new. In fact, the reason the game was developed was to demo the 3D techniques. 3D WorldRunner is an interesting game for what it managed to do at such an early time in the NES's life cycle, however the gameplay does fall a little flat. It's enjoyable and can be mastered if you want to put the time in, but it's hard to justify doing this. The music's repetitive and grinds on you in a short amount of time. Where the game shines is its graphics, or at least the graphics for the time period. The game is a nice little period piece that's worth checking out, but also forgettable in almost every other aspect.